Rosh Hashanah Yom Teruah Day 1. Rosh Hashanah, beginning of the year. Rosh Hashanah Yom Teruah Day 1. Torah Bereshit Genesis 21:1-34 Numbers 29:1-6. Haftarah Shmuel Alef, 1 Samuel, 1:1-10. Berit Hadashah Matthew 24:29-36, Luke 1:39-55. Torah Bereshit Genesis 21:1-34, 21:1 Adonai remembered Sarah as he had said, and Adonai did for Sarah what he had promised. Sarah conceived and bore Abraham a son in his old age, at the very time God had said to him. Abraham called his son, born to him, whom Sarah bore to him, Yitzchak. Abraham circumcised his son Yitzchak when he was 8 days old, as God had ordered him to do. Abraham was 100 years old when his son Yitzchak, laughter, was born to him. Sarah said, God has given me good reason to laugh, now everyone who hears about it will laugh with me. And she said, who would have said to Abraham that Sarah would nurse children? Nevertheless, I have borne him a son in his old age. The child grew and was weaned, and Abraham gave a great banquet on the day that Yitzchak was weaned. But Sarah saw the son of Hagar the Egyptian, whom Hagar had borne to Abraham, making fun of Yitzchak. So Sarah said to Abraham, throw this slave girl out, and her son. I will not have this slave girl's son as your heir along with my son Yitzchak. Abraham became very distressed over this matter of his son. But God said to Abraham, don't be distressed because of the boy and your slave girl. Listen to everything Sarah says to you, because it is your descendants through Yitzchak who will be counted. But I will also make a nation from the son of the slave girl, since she is descended from you. Abraham got up early in the morning, took bread and a skin of water and gave it to Hagar, putting it on her shoulder, and the child, then he sent her away. After leaving, she wandered in the desert around Beersheba. When the water in the skin was gone, she left the child under a bush, and went and sat down, looking the other way, about a bow shot's distance from him. Because she said, I can't bear to watch my child die, so she sat there, looking the other way, crying out and weeping. God heard the boy's voice, and the angel of God called to Hagar from heaven and said to her, What's wrong with you, Hagar? Don't be afraid, because God has heard the voice of the boy in his present situation. Get up, lift the boy up, and hold him tightly in your hand, because I am going to make him a great nation. Then God opened her eyes, and she saw a well of water. So she went, filled the skin with water and gave the boy water to drink. God was with the boy, and he grew. He lived in the desert and became an archer. He lived in the Paran desert, and his mother chose a wife for him from the land of Egypt. At that time Abimelech and Pichol the commander of his army spoke to Abraham. They said, God is with you in everything you do. Therefore, swear to me here by God that you will never deal falsely with me or with my son or grandson. But according to the kindness with which I have treated you, you will treat me in the land in which you have lived as a foreigner. Abraham said, I swear it. Now Abraham had complained to Abimelech about a well which Abimelech's servants had seized. Abimelech answered, I don't know who has done this. You didn't tell me, and I heard about it only today. Abraham took sheep and cattle and gave them to Abimelech, and the two of them made a covenant. Abraham put 7 female lambs from the flock by themselves. Abimelech asked Abraham, What is the meaning of these 7 female lambs you have put by themselves? He answered, You are to accept these 7 female lambs from me as witness that I dug this well. This is why that place was called Beersheba, well of 7, well of an oath, because they both swore an oath there. When they made the covenant at Beersheba, Abimelech departed with Pichol the commander of his army and returned to the land of the Pelishtim. Abraham planted a tamarisk tree in Beersheba, and there he called on the name of Adonai, the everlasting God. Abraham lived for a long time as a foreigner in the land of the Pelishtim. Numbers 29:1 In the 7th month, on the 1st day of the month, you are to have a holy convocation. Do not do any kind of ordinary work. It is a day of blowing the shofar for you. Prepare a burnt offering to make a fragrant aroma for Adonai, 1 young bull, 1 ram and 7 male lambs in their first year and without defect with their grain offering, consisting of fine flour mixed with olive oil, 6 quarts for the bull, 4 quarts for the ram, and 2 quarts for each of the 7 lambs, also 1 male goat as a sin offering to make atonement for you. This is to be in addition to the burnt offering for Rosh Hashanah with its grain offering, the regular burnt offering with its grain offering, and their drink offerings. According to the rule for them, this will be a fragrant aroma, an offering made by fire to Adonai. Haftarah Shmuel Alef, 1 Samuel, 1:1-10. 1:1 There was a man from Ramathaim Tsophim, in the hills of Ephraim, whose name was Elkanah the son of Yerachim, the son of Elihu, the son of Dotu, the son of Tsaph, from Ephrat. He had 2 wives, one named Hannah and the other Peninnah. Peninnah had children, but Hannah had no children. This man went up from his city every year to worship and sacrifice to Adonai Tzvaot in Shiloh. The 2 sons of Eli, Hophni and Pinchas, were Kohanim of Adonai there. One day, when Elkanah was sacrificing, he gave a portion of the sacrifice to his wife Peninnah and portions to each of her sons and daughters. But to Hannah he gave a double portion, because he loved Hannah, even though Adonai had kept her from having children. Her rival taunted her and made her feel bad, because Adonai had kept her from having children. He did the same every year. And each time she went up to the house of Adonai, she taunted her so much that she would cry and not eat. Her husband Elkanah said to her, "Hannah, why are you crying, and why aren't you eating? Why be so sad? Am I not better to you than 10 sons?" So Hannah got up after they had finished eating and drinking in Shiloh. Eli the Cohen was sitting on his seat by the doorpost of the temple of Adonai. In deep depression she prayed to Adonai and cried. Then she took a vow. She said, "Adonai Tzvaot, if you will notice how humiliated your servant is, if you will remember me and not forget your servant but will give your servant a male child, then I will give him to Adonai for as long as he lives, and no razor will ever come on his head." She prayed for a long time before Adonai, and as she did so, Eli was watching her mouth. Hannah was speaking in her heart, her lips moved, but her voice could not be heard, so Eli thought she was drunk. Eli said to her, "How long are you going to stay drunk? Stop drinking your wine." But Hannah answered, "No, my lord, I am a very unhappy woman. I have not drunk either wine or other strong liquor, rather, I've been pouring out my soul before Adonai. Don't think of your servant as a worthless woman, because I have been speaking from the depth of my distress and anger." Then Eli replied, "Go in peace. May the God of Israel grant what you have asked of him." She replied, "May your servant find favor in your sight." So the woman went on her way, and she ate, and her face was no longer sad. They got up early in the morning and worshipped before Adonai, then returned and came to their house in Ramah. Elkanah had sexual relations with Hannah his wife, and Adonai remembered her. She conceived, and in due time she gave birth to a son, whom she named Shmuel, because I asked Adonai for him. The husband, Elkanah, went up with all his household to offer the yearly sacrifice to Adonai and fulfill his vow. But Hannah did not go up, explaining to her husband, "Not till the child has been weaned, then I will bring him, so that he can appear before Adonai and lie there forever." Her husband Elkanah answered her, "Do what seems good to you, stay here until you have weaned him, only may Adonai bring about what he said." So the woman stayed behind and nursed the child, until she weaned him. After weaning him, she took him up with her, along with 3 young bulls, a bushel of flour and a skin of wine, and brought him to the house of Adonai in Shiloh, even though he was just a child. After the bull had been slaughtered, the child was brought to Eli, and she said, "My lord, as surely as you live, my lord, I am the woman who stood here near you, praying to Adonai. I prayed for this child, and Adonai has granted the request I asked of him. Therefore, I too have loaned him to Adonai as long as he lives, he is on loan to Adonai." And he prostrated himself there before Adonai too. Then Hannah prayed, she said, "My heart exults in Adonai, my dignity has been restored by Adonai, I can gloat over my enemies. Because of my joy at your saving me, no one is as holy as Adonai, because there is none to compare with you, no rock like our God. Stop your proud boasting. Don't let arrogance come from your mouth, for Adonai is a God of knowledge, and he appraises actions. The bows of the mighty are broken, while the feeble are armed with strength. The well-fed hire themselves for bread, while those who were hungry hunger no more. The barren woman has borne 7, while the mother of many wastes away. Adonai kills and makes alive. He brings down to the grave, and he brings up. Adonai makes poor, and he makes rich. He humbles, and he exalts. He raises the poor from the dust, lifts up the needy from the trash pile. He gives them a place with leaders, and assigns them seats of honor. For the earth's pillars belong to Adonai. On them he has placed the world. He will guard the steps of his faithful. But the wicked will be silenced in darkness, for it is not by strength that a person prevails. Those who fight Adonai will be shattered. He will thunder against them in heaven. Adonai will judge the ends of the earth. He will strengthen his king, and enhance the power of his anointed. Pirit Hadashah Matthew 24:29-36, Luke 1:39-55. Matthew 20:29. But immediately following the trouble of those times, the sun will grow dark, the moon will stop shining, the stars will fall from the sky, and the powers in heaven will be shaken. Then the sign of the Son of Man will appear in the sky, all the tribes of the land will mourn, and they will see the Son of Man coming on the clouds of heaven with tremendous power and glory. He will send out his angels with a great shofar, and they will gather together his chosen people from the four winds, from one end of heaven to the other. Now let a fig tree teach you its lesson. When its branches begin to sprout and leaves appear, you know that summer is approaching. In the same way, when you see all these things, you are to know that the time is near, right at the door. Yes, I tell you that this people will certainly not pass away before all these things happen. Heaven and earth will pass away, but my words will never pass away. But when that day and hour will come, no one knows, not the angels in heaven, not the Son, only the Father. Luke 1:39. Without delay, Miriam set out and hurried to the town in the hill country of Yehuda where Zechariah lived, entered his house and greeted Elisheva. When Elisheva heard Miriam's greeting, the baby in her womb stirred. Elisheva was filled with the Ruach HaKodesh and spoke up in a loud voice, "How blessed are you among women, and how blessed is the child in your womb. But who am I, that the mother of my Lord should come to me? For as soon as the sound of your greeting reached my ears, the baby in my womb leaped for joy. Indeed you are blessed, because you have trusted that the promise Adonai has made to you will be fulfilled." Then Miriam said, "My soul magnifies Adonai, and my spirit rejoices in God, my Savior, who has taken notice of his servant girl, in a humble position. For imagine it, from now on, all generations will call me blessed. The Mighty One has done great things for me. Indeed, his name is holy, and in every generation, he has mercy on those who fear him. He has performed mighty deeds with his arm, rooted the secretly proud, brought down rulers from their thrones, raised up the humble, filled the hungry with good things, but sent the rich away empty. He has taken the part of his servant Israel, mindful of the mercy, which he promised to our fathers, to Abraham and his seed forever.